Hello, beautiful people. It's your girl Neyssa with XPansive Taste. Here we expand our realities to ultimate greatness and learn to receive the best out of life. So, it's been such a long time since we've had a chat. I know I've been gone for forever, but I'm back, and today I wanted to share with you some lessons that I learned from a woman that I met, a stranger. Really, I met her when I was at Goodwill with an ex-boyfriend, and she just decided to give us a bunch of financial advice. We didn't ask for it, but she blessed us with some of her rambles, and I still apply some of her tips today, or I do my best to try to apply them. And I wanted to share them with you because it would be very selfish of me to not share the knowledge that Vicky had bestowed upon me. This is Vicky Finances 2.0, the unsolicited financial advice the boomer age Vicky gave me while I was mindlessly shopping at Goodwill. Okay, so I'll go into details with all of them, but overall, there's one, know quality, buy frugally. Two, live below your means. Three, don't buy for your imaginary self. Four, make long term investments. Five, buy a starter home. So, first tip, know quality, buy frugally. And this is about being an informed shopper who seeks long lasting quality items and then searches for the most affordable way to attain it. So, the example that, she gave me was that she likes to shop at Banana Republic. That is the place where she buys clothes for her husband and herself that is, it has good quality clothes for her that they like. And what she does is that she never buys it full price, or at least she rarely buys it full price, because she knows that every time she goes to Goodwill, she can find Banana Republic there. And this isn't just about Banana Republic, but like other brands that she knows that she enjoys that is good quality. She doesn't pay full price because she knows she can get it secondhand for way, way less. If you want to apply this in your lives, just know whatever you want, you can buy it secondhand, or you could even get it for free. This is like exercise equipment. You can get expensive kitchen appliances, clothes, and I don't know, tools, whatever it is that you need, furniture. You can know that it's good quality and you can buy it secondhand, whether it's on Facebook Marketplace, Goodwill, or a garage sale. Um, Eventually, if you look for it and if you have enough patience, you will find it for a good price. And so, this is a tip that I've been able to apply a lot, not just with clothes, because I've always been a thrift shopper, but like even like my perfumes, I always try to look for the best price. Like I go on websites where they sell discounted perfume bottles like Fragrance Net, and also I buy it secondhand like on Macari. And yeah, there's always someone just selling a bottle that would normally cost like $120 for $60 or whatnot. And so you got to have a little patience and know that you're going to find it for the best price eventually. And oh yeah, also coupons, whatever it is that you're looking for, buy it for the best price. Okay, next part is live below your means. So don't let FOMO influence your purchases. And one thing that Vicky talked about was how she and her husband, they both worked, they had dual income, but they only lived on one income. I believe she said that they lived on her husband's income pretty much their whole life, and what they do with her income is that they just save it. And so they both work, they both make money, but they make sure that whatever that they spend their money on, it is all within their husband's income, or her husband's income. And then, what they do with their savings, they saved it for retirement and whatnot. And yeah, I know that's something that is very hard to do, but it's not impossible to do. There are plenty of YouTubers who, like, what is it called? Like the FIRE movement, which is financial freedom, early retirement, or financial independence, retire early. Yeah, that's what it stands for. Financial independence, retire early. And so they have plenty of tips on how you can do that. And yeah, that's something that her and her husband have been doing for their whole lives. And she mentioned that, her peers, they were people who definitely we're competing with the Joneses, and whenever their whatever their incomes was, they just spent it because they technically in their imagination could afford it or whatever. Or whenever their incomes increase, they just like decide to upgrade something in their lifestyle, whether it's buying a new home, buying a new car, going on a more expensive vacation, or just deciding that because they make extra money, they're going to spend more money. And that's something that she is very against. So, yeah, this can mean many different things. Like, not all of us are going to be buying new houses and boats, but something that I do is, like, I don't really have FOMO when it comes to certain experiences, like going to concerts or games or anything you need to buy like a very expensive ticket for, or like really going on trips. I'm not too I don't feel too bad missing out on those things because I know I'd rather save money on those particular expenses. But of course, that doesn't mean I just like deny myself any pleasure, because I still enjoy things like buying perfumes and fashion items, and yeah, I save money where I can. Whatever your values are, you just got to make sure that your finances are aligning with that. Like, if you don't really value eating out and you just prefer to cook at home, then don't force yourself to eat out. If you don't really like going to concerts, don't force yourself to go to concerts just because your friend invited you. You know, if you don't like getting your nails done at the salon, you don't have to. Even if you want to level up and, I don't know, be super, whatever it is, like being your best self, being that girl. I know there are many like that girl advices that like makes people feel like they need to go to the salon every week and like get all sorts of things done. If you prefer to do all that stuff at home or to just like not do it at all, that's fine. Um, yeah, just figure out what your values are. Don't have FOMO, and save money where you can. Okay, the next tip that Vicky told me was don't buy for your imaginary self. And this one kind of hurt my feelings because it was very uncalled for. Pretty much what happened is that I picked up this white jumpsuit that I thought was super cute, and it was like a size 4, and at the time I was like a size 8. But I knew that there have been more than one occasions where for some reason I've been able to slip myself into something that was not my size, and it just worked out perfectly. And so I had high hopes, and I was like, you know what? Maybe this jumpsuit is gonna fit me. You never know. And so I just had that in my hand, and Vicky notices my jumpsuit. She's like, "Oh, that's nice." And then she asked me what size it is, and I tell her it's a size 4. And then she's all like, "Go put that back. There is no use in trying to put that on. It won't even get through your thighs. Your thighs are too thick. I mean, you look good, but your thighs are too thick. Just put it back. Don't waste your time." And I was hurt. I was I was hurt because I'm like, why would she tell me that? But I did hold on to that jumpsuit and I took it to the dressing room, and she was right. She was right. It did not go through my thighs, not even a little bit. And yeah, I had to put it back anyways. And so that was very disappointing. But the overall lesson is don't waste your time, don't waste your money. Uh, you don't need to purchase anything or feel like you need to purchase anything just for your imaginary self. If you know you're not going to use it, if you're not going to use it like in a very predictable manner. Like, if you're buying a dress and you're thinking, oh, like maybe one day when I go to a beach party, this would be nice, which I've done several times. Um, and then I never go to a beach party. Pretty much like that. If there is something that is only that only works for you in your imagination, just put it down. Don't buy it. Don't waste your time. Find something else that works for you. And this isn't just about clothing, like this is about many things. Like, for example, at some point I wanted a moped. I just thought riding a moped around the city would look so cool, but reality had to set in, and I was like, you know what, mopeds aren't realistic for the place that I live in. The roads are not moped friendly. And a lot of the time when I'm just out and about doing errands, I need a lot of space. I need a lot of space to carry things, to carry groceries, to, yeah, pretty much that's it. Yeah, carry groceries because I only go to a certain amount of places and the grocery store is number one. And the next tip that Vicky told me was to make long term investments. And if you want any advice on investing, I'm not your girl. I am definitely not her. So I can't really say much on this part. But what she did say is that her and her husband, they bought a share of Apple, back when it just started or whatever. And at the time, it was like 2019, she's all like, yeah, we bought, a share, and that money went up to be like $50,000. And so she was able to make a good buck from investing and, letting that money grow. And I know she said she had other investments, but I think her most notable one that she wanted to share with us was Apple. And yeah, that worked out for her. It might be too late to invest in Apple. I don't know. But there are many other new things that you can look around for, and maybe it will work out. So the last tip is to buy a starter home. And she talked about not bothering with your first house being your dream house or your forever house, and to only upgrade as needed. And so what she talked about is that, a lot of her peers, they get married and then all of a sudden they want their first house to be like a 3 bedroom or a 4 bedroom house. And she mentioned that that kind of lifestyle was just like, it was too much, it was too big, it was a waste of money and time or whatever. She mentioned that a starter home is where it's at, especially when it's just like you, one other person, and like a couple small children. She mentioned something like a 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom house is enough. Children are very small, they don't take up a lot of space. That was her explanation. And she was like, you know what? Like, you simply don't need a big house for most of your life. Of course, when the kids get older and it makes more sense to buy a larger home, then that might be what you have to do. But for the most part, a starter home, your first home should be a starter home. It doesn't need to be your dream house. It's perfectly fine to have a smaller house and then sell it later. Today, the cost of homes is definitely a lot more than what it used to be in Vicky's time. But there are still ways to adapt this kind of tip into today's age. It's just scaled down a whole lot. So the 2 bedroom houses, it's not, those are still very expensive, in a lot of areas. But yeah, so in today's age, that version of a starter home would be a tiny home. Doing van life, if you're like a single person with a dog or whatever, you can do van life. And then there's also work trade. And pretty much what that means is that there are people who have larger homes, who have the space, who have a guest house. And what they do is that they will rent that place either for free or not, well, not for free, but they do it for the exchange of like labor. So if they need like a nanny, a dog walker, someone doing yard work, or I don't know, cleaner, a cook, whatever. Like whatever they need help on, they are willing to have someone live in that space for either free or for a very little amount of money, as long as they're able to help them out, because maybe they're just so busy or they're really old and they can't manage to do a lot of things by themselves. Yeah, so work trade is something that is, I think it's quite popular in California. But in other places, some people also do, you know, do a little bit of that. And um, yeah, it's available. You just got to look for whoever needs help and whoever has the extra space. Okay, so next thing is like an accessory dwelling unit, which is not always available, but there's always, someone around the city who has like something like a renovated garage that is considered an accessory dwelling unit, or a tiny house in their backyard, or like a renovated shed that is livable. And yeah, so accessory dwelling units, like, I don't know, it has to be, at least in my county, to be considered one, it has to be like under 625 square feet. So it is a small living space, but it could be just enough for whoever you are. If renting an apartment in your area is too much, then you can find someone with an extra space that is remodeled or just built that is suitable for your needs. And next thing, affordable houses do exist. I've known this, or I've been able to see this for a few years actually. Like if you just look enough, if you go on Zillow and you really reduce the prices, and you check consistently, there's always going to be at least like one home, one condo or whatever that's actually like at a very very good price. It's not like beat down, it's not run down, it's not, it's just a good home for a good price. There's always one out there. Well, unless you live in New York City, whatever, but we don't all live in New York, okay? And so even if that one gets snatched up, bought real quickly, just know affordable houses in general, they do exist. They just happen to be in places that maybe don't have a lot of traffic. It could be in the middle of nowhere or just in a very small town, or just like, an hour away from like a major city. And even in Florida, like there are so many areas, so many small towns that have like 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom homes that are pretty like in good condition. They're in good condition, but they just happen to be in a small town, and it's like $100,000 or $120,000, which is a very good price, but the area is just like not quite as developed. If you move there, it's going to take you like 20 minutes to go to Walmart or whatever. Wow, I love grocery stores. And really, if you're someone who is an introvert like me, who doesn't mind just being in a very empty town, then that can be fine. The only downside is like those places often don't have work, and so, or don't have like you know, good paying jobs or lots of options. And so if you are able to have like a good paying job that is remote, and you move to a house that is just in a side of town that is not that popular, you can live a good life. You can live a good life, and everything can be affordable in your area if you're just someone who is able to work remotely, and if you can tolerate living in a town that doesn't have all the amenities. Maybe it doesn't have a Chinese food restaurant, maybe it doesn't have an Indian food restaurant, maybe there is no skating rink, maybe all you have is grocery stores, schools, and libraries, and churches. So that's not the worst place. That's not the worst kind of life you can live, okay? If that's what you need to do for a moment, you buy a good $100,000 house, making a good income with your remote job. That can be a good life, okay? And then later you can sell it. You can sell it later, okay? And then you can live in a bigger city. You can buy a condo in Miami. I don't know. You'll be able to save a lot of money, okay? That's the end of the story. Oh yeah, and last tip, living with family. So, here's the thing. So, I know a lot of us are already living with our family. But really in this day and age, there is no shame in living with your parents. And some of you are really out there earning minimum wage, paying $2,000 a month on an apartment when you got parents with a whole 4 bedroom house to themselves. They got room. You could move back and have 2 rooms to yourself. All you have to do is move back. I'm speaking to a couple people in particular. You know, are you really living that good where you are? Okay, let me stop. But that's just an example. You could save money just living with your parents. There's no shame. It's fine. They have the space. You might as well live there and help them pay off their mortgage, and later that can be your home or whatever. Or, there's so much you can do. I know a lot of us, we all want our own three-bedroom house by the time that we're 30, but realistically, for a lot of us, that's just not happening unless you're going to law school, medical school, or, you got a good inheritance. Some old aunt decided to just give you their house. Um, that's your option. You can live in a tiny home, you can do a work trade, live in an accessory dwelling unit, you can live in a beat down town or just an old town. It doesn't have to be beat down. It can be safe, just safe and quiet, or you can live with your family. And here's what I have done, because I would like to share with you just a little fast forward of what I did. This is actually a renovated garage in my family's house. My family, they have a two-bedroom, well, it's a three-bedroom house, but with a 400 square foot garage. It's a very big two-car garage that I decided would be my best option, because I cannot afford to buy a house, I cannot afford to rent, but I could afford to save a couple $1,000s to renovate a garage, and this is working for me. So I'm not going to go into complete detail about how I made this garage happen, but pretty much what I did is I first bought a shed. Last year I bought a shed. It was like about $500, and I cleaned out the garage, and it took a whole year for me to clean out the garage, to donate some things, throw away some things, and put them in the shed. And then earlier this year, that's when I was able to hire someone to install the drywall and do some electrical work. And, they did their thing. They added the drywall, they added 6 outlets, and later I painted things. And then, my boyfriend also really helped me out with this, and he helped me build the shed. So he was there day one, helping me start with my starter home. And yeah, he bought the flooring, he bought the air conditioner, and he did a lot of labor with doing some other things here and there. Also, yeah, curtain, yeah, lots of stuff. Overall it costed around $6,000. So yeah, both he and I, we spent around $6,000 to renovate the garage, and it looks great. It looks amazing. This room is great for us. I love this room. Yeah, and I get to live next to my parents, and yeah, we just have a good old time living together. And yeah, we get to be one big happy family. And family is community. So, for all of you who love to talk about community and helping one another and loving one another, go live with your parents. Renovate the garage and turn it into a very, very large bedroom. Or actually, my first idea was to make it into like a studio apartment, but long story short, I did not have the capability of saving $50,000 or the patience. I mean, I could, but I just didn't have the patience to wait 4 years until I could save $50,000 to turn a garage into like a studio apartment with a functioning bathroom and kitchen. Okay, so what I could do is I saved a few thousand and I turned it into a bedroom. And that works perfectly fine. So if you have the ability to save a couple $1,000s, you can buy a shed, move into your parents' garage. Yeah. So that is all. Of course, with their permission. My parents are completely fine with this. It's a mutual agreement, and yeah. So that was all. That was Vicky Finances. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, beautiful people. I send you my love. Mwah. Bisous.